Well, g'day fishers, Brent from Tackle World Port Stephens, and you guessed it, it's the fishing report. End of the week, fishing report, there you go. Weekend looks pretty good actually. A little bit of a light southerly tomorrow will come through tonight, and then it drops away. It looks like a glamour weekend. So light southerly Saturday, back to the northeast Sunday. So finally, a really good weekend. The weather during the week was ordinary at best. Westerlies in the middle, well, beginning of summer is just crazy. So, and if you have a look at the weather outside today, unfortunately, those bushfires in the valley aren't making it very comfortable. So, hopefully, people up in that area, we wish them luck and all the best. Anyway, but back onto the fishing report. In the bay this week, there's been plenty of nice fish in the bay. The good news is the blue swimmers are starting to really come on strong. So, if you're keen, get those traps out there and get them out there before Christmas. And obviously get your feed of blue swimmers for another 3 weeks' time anyway, or if you're keen to start eating them now. So some good blue swimmers around. I've heard a little bit deeper water, so 3 to 4 metres of water if you want to put those traps in. My suggestion, big round traps and leave them in overnight, pick them up first light before people decide to share farm. So that's my little tip on the crabbing. So blue swimmers around Tilligary Creek up the Karua there, and also North Arm Cove, Pindimer Bay, all been doing really well on the blue swimmers. Plenty of big whiting around, some really cracking whiting, yellowfin whiting or sand whiting I should say, over the shallow flats. We've got some good tides this weekend, incoming tides all morning, so it'll be worth chasing the big whiting. If you're shore-based, Corlette through to Wanda Headland, back of Soldiers Point, live tube worms are the way to go, but fish light, like I keep saying, 4 pound litre is the only way to go for your whiting. And some live tube worms. You could also try Shoal Bay Beach, but I think those bigger fish are going to be up the back of the bay at the moment. If you're into your surface fishing, lure fishing, then get up in those shallower flats, Taylor's Beach, all those areas. If you're in a boat, my suggestion is to head up towards Tanelwa Bay and those areas there. You'll find that the whiting, with the salinity, no rain, they'll push right up in the system at this time of year. So yeah, give that a go as well. The brimmer on the surface lures as well. I know Chris Curtis had an absolute ripper of a time last weekend, catching some really nice yellowfin brim on the surface lures around the shallows. I believe you got a fish about 39 fork centimetres, so that's about a little bit over a kilo, I guess. Not a bad fish on a surface lure, so really nice fish there. I believe he was using the 76mm bent minnows, which we've got stock of at the moment. So good old bent minnows, NW pencils, they all work really well on the brim on surface. Still some really good lizards around. I know Jack Hammond took out Brent Harding last Sunday, called in and got some big swim baits. I believe Brent got a nice one, 85 centimetres, so it's an absolute ripper, right in the shallows on a big swim bait. So well done to Breno. He's not only a good marlin fisherman, but he can also catch flathead. There you go, nice work. A few dewies around, albeit a little bit smaller, around that 70 to 80 centimetre mark. Most of those are falling victim to soft vibes, obviously. But if you're keen, have a live bait, get some live slimies out the front of Tomaree and whiz back in for the tide change around Middle Island there, that edge of 30 metres. Drift down the edge of that. I suggest drifting, don't bother anchoring, just drift it, makes it a hell of a lot easier. And I reckon you cover more ground finding the fish, or either on out the front of Fane Cove, there's a couple of edges over there as well, worth a shot. So bay's fishing really well. Plenty of bait in the bay, plenty of frogmouth pilchards. There has been some reports of better kingfish getting around in the bay, but they're being very finicky, especially feeding on those little frogmouth pillies. But if you can find them first light, might be worth a go. Moving on to the beaches, I went and had a look at Fingal just quickly there before. A little bit of redweed on there, but up towards the spit looks really good. There should be some whiting there now. Still some salmon and tailor up there as well. The water's not exactly warm. It's hovering about 19 degrees on the inshore. So it's not exactly summer water, which is typical of December until we get into February when it really warms up. Likewise, a little bit of redweed down Barooby Way. Some nice gutters there though. Went for a drive down there. Some nice gutters. There has been some good whiting down there and the odd good brim as well. And obviously your tailor and salmon. Might be worth having a little fish for a Jew during the nighttime hours. Give it a crack. I know there's been a couple of smaller fish down there, about that sort of 6 to 8 kilo mark. It's still good fun off the beach there as well. Off the rocks, a little bit of swell during the week picked up. I know I spoke to Gaza. He got some really nice pigs in the washes at Boulder Bay. Obviously, like I said, that water's still a bit cool, so you managed to pick up some really nice drummer up to about 3 kilo mark. So if you're keen on doing a bit of wash fishing, pigs will be the go. There's been still some good luderick around, especially down off Cemetery Point there at Enna Bay. So if you're keen on your luderick fishing, that'll be worth a shot. And again, those bread and butter species, tailor and salmon, off most of those points. There were some bonito around, but it's sort of a little bit hit and miss at the moment on the bonito. So one day they're there, one day they're gone. So that's it about on the rocks. Now, the good news offshore, still some really good fishing. Crab christened his new boat, his new bar crusher. Sent me a photo, got some really nice snapper, some trag, and even some pearl perch. So he did really well. Most of those fish falling to gulps, to soft plastics. So he had a clanger of a first session in his new boat. Well done, Crab. I believe there's still a few trag around the 21 and the V and the big giver. But the problem is, mixed in with them are the good old barracudas. So obviously there's a mixture of warmer temperature on the surface, colder water underneath. So the good old barracudas are there on some of the inshore grounds. Some big kings around. I know some guys that have been stick baiting and getting some really good kings. Some nice fish up to 20 kilos on the stick baits. So if you're keen on that, any of those shallower areas, those bommies will be worth throwing a stick bait up in, especially on a tide change, first light, last light, and see how you go on those bigger kings. If you want a live bait, see big live slimies will be the way to go there. Again, still some snapper on the inshore reefs early morning. If you're keen on a plastic session, you'll do well there, or likewise on a burley session for those reds as well. Now, still some striped marlin out on the edge of the shelf, which is good to hear. A couple of boats that ventured out during the week. Got 1s and 2s there, a little bit further south of the car park, in about 07 to 10 there was a little bit of a bite there during the week as well. Looking at the sea surface temperatures, there's a bit of an edge that's pushed in up around 32.50. Water's about 23 degrees there. A little bit of current in it, so if that keeps pushing in from the east to west, it's all going to start to happen very soon. So I know a few boats that will be going out this weekend, so good luck to those. We'll see how we go come Monday, if those stripes and maybe the odd black, I reckon, and maybe a blue over the edge of the shelf. So all starting to hot up. Anyway, that's it for me this week, and we'll talk to you next week.